Alright, so this is the last part of my trip. For the last 2 days I've been working on this load. So just to recap, I went yesterday and picked it up in Kingston, Oklahoma, and it was a PJ trailer with 3 PJ brand truck beds on it. And they loaded me up and I got everything tied down. Took it home last night, and then today I took it up into Kansas and delivered it. Now I'm on my way home and I'm 47 miles from the house, so I'm just about home. So I thought I would just do the recap and then kind of maybe go ahead and video a little bit until I lose the rest of the light. I've got a storm front coming in behind me, I think is what it is. So it's pretty dark back behind me. And down in front of me, I don't know if that's like the leading edge of something or the tail edge of something, but it's like we're right in between 2 systems here, I think. And it's supposed to rain here tomorrow, is what I was seeing when I checked the weather the last time. I'm not going to check the weather right now because I'm driving and I have to use my cell phone to do that, but so I'm almost to Pocasset, Oklahoma. I'm about probably 3 miles north of Pocasset right now. Once I get through that, I got Chickasha, and then it's like 25 miles, 26, 7 miles maybe on down to where I can go ahead and get home. So I'm just going to go straight on home. I'm not going to stop. I've got enough fuel to get home on and a little bit to spare. So everything's looking good right now. I'm going to knock on wood so I don't jinx anything. And so I got some good news today, a while ago from Bill. Evidently, I've been wanting to get a blue heeler puppy for a little while now. Our granddaughter's got one. His name's Buddy, and he's a really cute, smart little guy. Really nice little dog. Well, I didn't know that it was even available, but his brother is available. The people who had the puppies, the owners of the mother or whatever, they have one puppy left that hasn't been claimed, but he's not a blue heeler, he's a brown heeler. He didn't get the blue color. I don't care because I'm not going to breed him anyway. I'm going to probably have him fixed and just have him for a companion dog for us and Molly. But we wanted a smart dog for a friend for her because she's a smart dog, so we didn't want to get a dumb dog to be friends with her. We don't want to saddle her with a dumb friend. But Buddy's pretty smart, seems pretty smart. So I think this one will be too. So we're going to go take a look at him tomorrow and go see if we can bring him on home. So that's kind of exciting for me. I've been wanting another dog around the place. I think Molly will be happier if she's got a buddy to run with. And she's also lost her buddy when Pepper passed away, our little Chihuahua. They were really good friends. You know, she grew up around him and they got along great. Well, he was so old that last summer, we had to have him put down. He was failing so badly. He was just suffering. So we had to end up having him put down, which was terrible. It was traumatic for everybody. So it's been a while now. It's time to get her a new friend. And she'll be able to mold her new friend to suit her. So that's what dogs do. You know, you've got one with a stronger personality. It's usually the older one that's already set in its ways, and it teaches the younger one what it knows and stuff like that. They're pretty smart that way. So we'll see how it goes. So we may be going to get the puppy tomorrow. And he's not going to be a tiny puppy because Buddy, our granddaughter's dog, he's getting pretty good sized. I mean, he's still a puppy, but he's not a little tiny puppy. So hopefully we'll be able to get this guy house trained and everything pretty quick. With him not being so young, they may already have him house trained. I don't know. Who knows? Some people house train, some people don't. Some people put their dogs out in the barn and don't ever mess with them. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. But we'll have to get him trained up I've found that even with a not so smart dog, potty training is usually not that difficult with a dog. Housebreaking. I use the kennel method, especially when they're like a really young puppy. But if he's already kind of got the drift, if he's already kind of been taught, then maybe that won't be such a struggle. But the kennel method is usually the one I would use. And when I do that, what I do is I kennel them if they're not eating or being played with or outside where they can pee after they've eaten or after they've been played with, then they're in the kennel. And I don't leave them in the kennel for like hours on end. I leave them in there for, a while, let them rest, let them sleep, whatever. If I'm doing something, I'll go and take them outside, let them play, let them pee. And then when it's time to feed them, take them out, feed them, take them out, let them pee, kind of in and out of the kennel all day long, and make it so the kennel's a good place to them, so it's a safe place where it's not a punishment. You don't want to train a dog that the kennel is a punishment, because then the dog won't want to go in the kennel. So you make that their favorite place with their good toy and their little bed and all that stuff. And that has worked really well with me now for the past 20 years with every dog I've ever had since then, since I learned that method. And so, it's usually pretty quick. That the older the dog is, if it's a smart dog, they usually catch on really fast. So, if they're 12 or 14 weeks, instead of being 6 or 8 weeks, I know some people give puppies away awful young, kind of before I would do it, I think, maybe, but when they're a little bit older and they're not quite so wobbly little puppies, it's not that hard to house train a puppy. You just have to be consistent. That's the big trick to it. And Bill's real good about that, even with Molly. He makes sure she goes out anytime she might need to. He'll take her out 20 times a day, even though she's a grown dog. And she's not too shy to just go out the cat door and then come back in on her own. So we can leave and go to town and not have to worry about her making a mess in the house, because she'll just let herself out and let herself back in. She's small enough to get through the cat door, so she's not a big dog. But so that's going to be the first order of business. Well, second order of business. First order of business is going to be finding out if this dog's had any shots and getting it into the vet, making sure it's got all its shots and everything. Just have it checked out, make sure it's healthy. So I'm not necessarily strict about getting a dog a rabies shot every year, because used to be they'd give rabies shots every 2 to 3 years, I think, it seems like. And that, if that was sufficient then, I don't know why it's not sufficient now, especially for an inside dog, for a dog that's not just out in the yard all the time where something can get it when you're not aware. But our dogs are not outside dogs. Our dogs are inside dogs. And, the only time they're outside is when we're outside with them. We don't just run them out and let them go run amok outside by themselves. But, like I say, Molly will let herself out to go pee and then come back in, but she doesn't just run around outside by herself. She doesn't like to. She doesn't like doing that. So she's a pretty smart dog. She's more sensible than a lot of people I know, put it that way, which may sound funny, but it's true. She's got more sense than a lot of human beings, than a whole lot of human beings. So this is the sunset that is working tonight. We're going to lose it here in a minute, but it's getting kind of colorful over there. There are a lot of oil rigs out here. There's 2 right there. Evidently the oil field is alive and well, and they're doing some drilling anyway, quite a bit in this area. I know where there's a few more drilling rigs. So there might be 8 or 10 of them running within 50 miles of here, I'd say. That's pretty good. So I'm going to try and get around Chickasha quicker tonight. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get through. I'm debating on whether to just go through the main part of town. I guess I'll just go right through town. I might as well. I could take the back way and go around town, but I think that takes just as long. And I have to go kind of out of the way to do that. So I might be better off just staying on the highway, going on through. I'm just trying to get home before it gets really dark. And I may have time if I can keep up my pace here and not get slowed down too much in Chickasha. I might make it before it's full dark, which would be really nice, because it just would. It'd be nice to pull into the yard where there's still a little bit of light left. Yeah, I can't decide if this is a front coming in from the south. That may be. It may be a front coming up from the south, pushing this one out behind me. But I thought the wind may have changed and might have been coming out of the north a while ago, but I don't think it is, because it's 76 degrees here. I think if it had turned, I think it was just maybe slowing down or something. Maybe I was misinterpreting it. Could happen. But it seems to me like if the wind was out of the north right now, it would be getting cooler instead of being warmer, and now it's 77 degrees. But it is supposed to be cool and rainy in the morning, so that might be a front coming in from the south that I see there. Maybe that's the rain coming from the Gulf. That would actually make sense. But I don't know. Maybe it's not going to be quite as cool as they think it's going to be. I'm kind of excited about prospects for tomorrow now. Going and getting a puppy. I mean, I already know Buddy, and he's a smart seeming dog. He's got a really good disposition. He seems like a happy, cheerful pup. So I'm hoping his brother will be a similar nature. We'll find out. But I didn't know the whole story surrounding it, so Bill had to call and get more details for me, because I didn't know if they had given him away to somebody or what the deal was, but they just haven't given him away at all. They've still got him. The original people still have him, so that's good. It means that he's not been given away and then given back because he's got some, flaw, some character flaw or something, like chewing up everything or destroying stuff. But that's something we'll have to get set up to have a puppy in the house again. We haven't had a puppy in the house in a long time. But these dang skunks, there's dead skunks all over the road, and I've been dodging them all day. I hope I didn't hit that one. I'm afraid I might have caught a little bit of it with my left tire, because with the oncoming traffic I couldn't get over too far. Don't want the truck to smell like a skunk for the next week, really. It's gross. But people always drive like crazy through this area. I got a guy up my butt trying to push me here, and I'm not gonna speed up. He's gonna have to go around me if he wants to go faster. I don't feel like getting a speeding ticket out here from the Chickasha Police Department. We're on the northern edges of the town right now. He wants to be that pushy, he can go on around me. I really get aggravated when people get up on my butt like that and push, try and get me to go faster. My usual response is to slow down. The only reason I'm not slowing down now is because I want to freaking get home. I'm just trying to run the speed limit. So this building out here on the right, this industrial building, that used to be Delta Faucets, and Bill worked there for like 20 years. He was in maintenance. He started out building faucets, making faucets on the line, but they moved him up, made him a maintenance group leader, I think, some kind of supervisor by the time he got done with working there. And he left there and came up to Colorado when we got married. It's probably a good thing he left when he did, because about a month or two after he left, they shut down this plant and shipped all the jobs to a combination of China and Tennessee. So I think Delta only has one U.S. plant left, and it's over in Tennessee. I drove by it last time I was out there. I noticed it. I don't remember what town it was in, but I noticed it was a Delta Faucet building. And I don't know if it's actually a manufacturing plant or if it's just their corporate offices. That could be too, because they ship most of the actual manufacturing straight to China. Come on, light. Sometime tonight. My gosh. I'm over it. I just want to get home. I've got about 4 cars backed up behind me. I'm sure they're wanting to get home too, so I'm going to get over here and run my speed and they can go. So I decided that truck stop I'm not going to use anymore. They've got a $75 limit on fuel at the truck pumps, which is the dumbest thing ever. I've got yeah, that's a storm front coming in from the south is what that is. That wind is still blowing out of the south really hard now, according to those flags back there anyway. Looking pretty wild, but you can see the whole edge of the front. You know, all the clouds coming up. That's our rain, I guess, that we're going to have the next day or two. That's okay. I mean, rain's a good thing. We need rain. Especially this time of year, we need rain and warm temperatures to green things back up and give us our nice spring. It's alright, you go speeding through Chickasha and see where that gets you, silly person. Chickasha is another, a lot of these towns through here, they do pretty heavy traffic control, and Chickasha is one of them. So I try not to speed through Chickasha. I don't want to pay them any ticket money. Just that way. That person obviously has not a care in the world. And they got a tail light that's not working. That car's got a temp tag on it, so they evidently got it rooked on a used car that needs work. I had that happen to me when I was younger too. I bought a piece of shit car. It was a Ford Bronco 2, and it was leaking oil real bad. The price was right on it. It was cheap, but I ended up having to put a motor in it like a month after I bought it. So I've been down that road. That was in pretty rough shape. But it was 4-wheel drive and it was a lightweight vehicle. It was really good in the snow. Once I put a new motor in it, fixed it up some. It was an 84, I think. 84 Ford Bronco 2. It was red. It was the same color of red that my Ford truck is. And I ran that thing for years. I drove it for 4 or 5 years when I was doing my land surveying, and I was driving all over the mountains in the deep snow in that thing. Kind of similar to what you see my brother driving in his driving videos up in northern Colorado. That was the kind of stuff I was going out in and driving around in and doing land surveying in, because that's what you do in the winter. You know, if you want to keep working in Colorado, you work through the weather. So, but that was the best handling vehicle I ever had on snow, like deep snow on unplowed dirt roads. That thing would go anywhere. There was a subdivision that was down by Fairplay, Colorado. I was based out of Golden originally with my surveying company, and then I ended up going up to Conifer, then Bailey. But I did a lot of work up in the mountains there. So Fairplay is down in South Park. Yes, that's South Park, from Bailey. So I did quite a bit of surveying in the subdivision that they put in, and it was called Valley of the Sun. I called it Valley of the Stunned because there were very few road signs telling you what street it was on. And trying to find a place in there was just so much fun. You had to just go by the plat map. you couldn't go by like a street address. You had to find your your property you're supposed to be surveying by you know, where it was located on the plat map and all of that. So it was just insane. So that was that was my nickname for that whole subdivision, was Valley of the Stunned. It was just too crazy. Just my headlight or my dash lights here, turn them way down. I don't like bright dash lights when it starts getting dark. I dim them down so they're not blinding me.